happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we're seeing yet another rogue Democratic official rushing to the aid and siding with illegal migrants and quickly paying the price in this one, guys. I'm excited to get into it, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Well, you've heard it. The individuals that the mayor is standing with are murderers, rapists, drug traffickers, sexual predators, child traffickers. The list goes on. Which is why I will always stand on the rule of law and with ICE. And I don't just stand with ICE, I'll stand in front of ICE. Because we, the people, have had enough. I choose my community, my state, and my family over this type of nonsense.
All right, you guys, so that right there was Andy Ogles, representative, speaking to us about his grievances with the mayor of Nashville, Tennessee, saying that he is tired of the nonsense. I'm trying to figure out what kind of nonsense has this Nashville mayor been putting himself in the middle of. So we're gonna check it out, see, get a little background on the story.
Well, tonight, Metro leaders are taking action after a weekend ICE operation ended with more than 100 people in custody.
The mayor signed a new executive order meant to improve internal communications inside Metro. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry joins us to explain why and what happens next. Caitlin.
Tennessee Highway Patrol says they were simply enforcing traffic laws fairly and consistently. They maintained stops were based on behavior behind the wheel, not who was behind it, adding that ICE handled immigration matters separately. But Mayor O'Connell isn't convinced. He's demanding ICE release the names and charges of the 103 people taken into custody during what officials called a safety operation. The mayor says it's routine in Nashville to know who is being held in custody, and that transparency should apply here too. Meanwhile, an issue the city is working to fix was a gap in communication. City leaders say they weren't made aware of ICE's presence until days after Homeland Security requested help from emergency communications. The message was not relayed until later. Now that breakdown has prompted the mayor's executive order meant to tighten coordination between departments moving forward.
It is important for us to get this right, and it's very frustrating to have seen a failure in the process. We're going to work to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I believe we would have been able to communicate within our departments to make them aware. Beyond that, it's really an open question whether or not someone can announce in advance that there's an impending enforcement activity. That's something that we are looking into.
Metro Legal is also reminding the community that despite your immigration status, you still have rights. Everyone has the right to remain silent, to refuse entry without a judge-signed warrant, and to speak with an attorney.
All right, so that kind of fills us in on what's going on. We could see this is another one of those situations that we've seen similar to what happened in Chicago with that Democratic mayor, Brandon Johnson. The way he acted was fighting Tom Homan, the ICE raids every step of the way, saying that he would not comply, he would not have his law enforcement comply. And now we're seeing that we got another situation over in Nashville, Tennessee with that mayor, Freddie O'Connell. He doesn't want to give in, he doesn't want to budge. He's trying to make new rules, acceptances for these illegal migrants. I'm excited to hear. It sounds like Representative Ogle is not messing around. Let's see what he's prepared to do next.
Which is why, due to the remarks of Freddie O'Connell and the potential for aiding and abetting illegal immigration, the Homeland Security and the Judiciary Committees will be conducting an investigation into the mayor of Nashville, his conduct, and whether or not federal dollars have been used in criminal enterprise. I will not back down. I will not relent, and I will always stand with law enforcement. I want my community and I want my country back. This is Andy Ogles, Thank you for being here.
Okay, you all. So what we just seen there was that same representative, Andy Ogles, who said he's now ready to bring forth a formal complaint looking into a criminal investigation of that Nashville mayor who is clearly on the side of these illegal migrants, whereas Representative Andy Ogles says these folks need to go back to their home country. You're going against our federal government's wishes of sending these folks back. I mean, there's states all across our nation are saying, hey, all these folks that came across the border illegally deserve to go back to their country. I mean, there's folks in line right now. There's folks that have been waiting for some time to get access or granted citizenship into the United States, but instead these folks are believing they can just cut the line, which then brings me to the question of where did this all get started at? Why is the mayor now feeling this way?
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marius Payton.
I'm Lauren Lowry. Mayor O'Connell said state and federal officials coordinated the arrests in Antioch.
He once again affirmed that Metro Police were not involved. That's despite claims made by immigrants' rights groups. Metro Legal Director Wally Deeds says he sent a letter to Tennessee Highway Patrol to find out who was arrested and what charges they face. So far, the number of people detained by ICE remains unknown. Mayor Freddie O'Connell says it was unusual for local authorities to hold an operation without coordinating with city and Metro Police.
What we saw over the weekend was actions that happened on state routes with no coordination with local officials. So, yes, I continue to be concerned about the mechanism for these actions, and I think what they've demonstrated is that they can occur at times and locations of their choosing without our involvement.
Officials say the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee is launching today what's called the Belonging Fund. It raises money to support.
We want to make sure that the immigrant community in this town knows that we have their back, and the fund will raise dollars that will support the needs of our immigrant community, especially those who've been affected by the ICE raids yesterday.
And we still haven't received any information from Homeland Security on that operation.
Okay, you all, so we're getting a good gist of this story by now. It sounds like that Nashville mayor wants local law enforcement not to be involved with sending these folks back. It sounds like they were just doing their job, and they found once they ran the information that these folks did not belong in our country. Doesn't mean that they're cooperating or coordinating these arrests or these traffic stops with ICE agents. Doesn't make sense to me why they would care. I mean, if you figure out, you run the plates and you see that these folks aren't supposed to be in this country, I mean, they did their job at the end of the day, getting these folks in the right hands, the right custody, and getting them sent back ultimately to their home country. And I actually stumbled upon an article that I found very interesting. This is from a local news in Nashville, Tennessee, WKRN. Kind of gives us an overview of what's happened and what's to come next. It reads, Congressman Andy Ogles confirms federal investigation into Nashville's mayor's office over illegal immigration. It starts off by saying that 2 federal committees will now be conducting an investigation into Nashville's mayor, Freddie O'Connell, for allegedly aiding and abetting illegal immigration. Tennessee Congressman Andy Ogles announced this all on Monday. Says the congressman, along with a gaggle of Tennessee elected officials at the state level and representatives from law enforcement agencies, announced the Homeland Security and Judiciary committees will look into the mayor, his conduct, and whether or not the city used federal dollars in his criminal enterprise related to immigration. Quote, I will not back down. I will not relent. I will always stand with law enforcement, Ogles said during a Memorial Day press conference inside of the state capitol building. I want my community and my country back. That's a huge statement there coming from Andy Ogles, and I feel like that's a lot of Americans across this nation. I mean, the majority voted for Donald Trump, and this was his agenda, his plan from Jump Street. So it kind of blows my mind that we still have these loonies on the left trying to get in the way or impede the process. They know what's going to happen next. I mean, just read between the lines what happened to other officials. It then says that the investigation stems from an ongoing escalation between community members and the federal immigration authorities. Ogles called for an investigation into the mayor's office after O'Connell criticized a, quote, joint safety operation conducted by immigration and custom enforcement officials and troopers with the Tennessee Highway Patrol at the beginning of May. Says the operation ended with 196 people arrested. Should note these are all illegal immigrants arrested and going back to their home country. This is all according to the statement from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security that also claimed the Nashville mayor stands by pro-illegal policies. Then goes on to say that O'Connell's criticism involved how members of the Metro Nashville Police Department have, quote, been delivering safety to this community by reducing crime multiple years now, and pointing out federal officials have, quote, shown us no proof that those arrested in the early May operation were people, quote, with criminal histories or criminal intent. I mean, these folks came into our country illegally. You can't be serious. As soon as they crossed across that border illegally, guess what? Those are criminal offenses, criminal histories, all on their track record. You got to get out of here with these narratives. And then goes on to say, quote, we don't even know the names of those who have been arrested, much less the charges. O'Connell said earlier this month, what we have seen is a violation of due process, oh my goodness, and the defiance of court orders. Then says the mayor also affirmed that the MNPD had no part in this operation. After the mayor's comments, Ogles lashed out on social media, declaring that he would call for the committees to investigate him. And rightfully so, because this is what the American people voted for. If they got arrested, those some 196 folks got themselves arrested, came into our country illegally, guess what? They're exactly where they need to be. Then goes on to say that now he's made good on those threats. I choose my community, my state, and my family over this type of nonsense. This is what Ogle said during this press conference, which is why, due to the remarks of Freddie O'Connell and the potential of aiding and abetting illegal immigration, the Homeland Security and Judiciary Committees will be conducting an investigation into the mayor of Nashville, his conduct, and whether or not federal dollars have been used in his criminal enterprise. Additionally, a Metro councilman has called for an audit fund designed to support illegal immigrants in Nashville. CM David Benton, who represents the District 28 in Metro Nashville, has called for either a state or federal audit of the fund in order to clarify whether any funds inadvertently supporting illegal immigration, which it sounds like they are, because they said they're going to stand behind and try to use these funds for folks of the some who are the 196 that were arrested. So that doesn't sound very legal or constitutional. You can't use taxpayer dollars to help support these illegal migrants, known criminals. Get them out of here. Then goes on to say the Belonging Fund is an effort launched by the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee in partnership with Metro Nashville after the May ICE raid. According to Metro, the fund gives money to nonprofit organizations that assist immigrants in times of crisis with things like housing instability, childcare, transportation, food insecurity, or other urgent needs. The fund does not support legal services. This is very interesting, though. I would love to see, once they do a full audit of where this money has been going to being diverted to, if these same nonprofit organizations are assisting illegal migrants in housing, childcare, and transportation and things of that nature. Then goes on to say that according to CFMT, no government dollars are used for the fund, only tax-deductible donations by, quote, generous individual donors and private organizations. That sounds even more sketchy. I can't wait to do a little bit more digging into these funds and what's truly happening in Nashville, Tennessee, because this sounds like this is a whole snafu we're getting ourselves into. Then goes on to say that Ben wants to either the state or federal government to look at all the organizations who receive Belonging Fund money to ensure no local dollars have been supporting illegal immigration. Quote, stop making a mockery of Memorial Day, defend Nashville, defend Tennessee, defend this country, and stop the evasion, Benton said during the same conference. Okay. All right. So that kind of just puts us right where we need to be, guys. We're in the center of this thing, and we can see that this guy has lost his mind, the mayor of Nashville. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. And I had to take a brief pause to find a photo of this mayor of Nashville, Tennessee. That right there is Freddie O'Connell. I just wanted to make sure you guys weren't mixing him up with the other guy that played in the beginning. That was Andy Ogles, who was speaking out against Mr. Freddie, who you're seeing now pictured on the screen. It sounds like he's completely lost it. He is jumping to the side of and trying to save these illegal migrants, known illegal migrants, from deportation efforts and ICE raids. And this all came after it sounds like was a successful ICE raid with over 196 folks being detained and, of course, they were kept in custody because they were not supposed to be in this country. I'm not sure when these folks will learn. I mean, it just keeps it seems like this situation keeps playing over and over again. We've seen the amount of trouble that Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson got himself into with these illegal migrants and trying to, play the superhero in a situation where these folks don't need saving. They probably could go back to their home country and, do it the right way. There's so many folks, like I said on the front half, there's so many folks that have been sitting in line, yet you keep arguing about due process, trying to put these folks who cut the line in a line to exit our country. That's not how this goes. Once we find out you're in this country illegally, as quick as you skipped across this border, you're getting shipped back. And that's what I voted for. I don't know about you guys. This is one of those issues that seems like it's a no-brainer, common sense. It should be a non-issue, but time and time again, these folks want to play that role. They want the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking, so definitely hop in the comment section. Comments are open. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next week.